Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Ruth Crowell, CEO of LBMA, the preeminent standard-setting body for the global wholesale market for precious metals, to discuss trading data and trends in gold and silver. Ruth, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
I'm delighted to be here, Jill, and I'm happy to bring you some news that doesn't focus on the royal family from across the pond. So we can talk about something something precious that's not the crown.
Yes, it has been quite the interesting news cycle, and certainly indicative of what we've been, focusing so much attention on in 2020 and 2021. But let's get back to the matter at hand, focus on gold. Last time we spoke, trading volumes were elevated. Do they still remain high?
Absolutely. So trading volumes themselves are still strong. We're actually at 36 million ounces average daily volume for March so far, which compared to last year is actually up. And 2020 was a fantastic year for precious metals, playing that classic safe haven role during troubled times. I think as we continue to look towards the year, we'll be watching the price, but it's not unexpected that the price has gone down simply as interest rates have gone up, and hopefully we're starting to see a light at the end of the pandemic tunnel. I think market analysts as well as other reporters will be focusing as well in terms of the relief package that was just passed in the United States, and see if that has any impact, particularly on inflation, as well as interest and the gold price itself.
Any updates to gold and silver London vault holdings? Explain to the audience why precious metals investors monitor this.
So, gold is ultimately a commodity, even though 99% of the time it acts like a currency. During the pandemic, as you'll remember perhaps a year ago, there were challenges when it came to people moving around the world. And since gold travels in the back of passenger airlines, there was concerns about whether the metal would make it to the vaults in London as well as in New York. I think as we've hit our 9th month record high in terms of gold volume, certainly the carriers have proved that they can get the gold there, and they can get it there in large numbers. So there's certainly a watch from investors in terms of, is there sufficient stocks to back up the trading? And certainly when it comes to London, which is truly a physical market, to make sure there is sufficient material in the vaults themselves. So given the focus and the strong trading volumes in London, there's been a focus as well in terms of if the metal is there, and it's certainly there in full.
Yeah, I remember last year when we were discussing this earlier in the spring, what a difference a year makes. And there's also some important news for silver investors and followers. Tell us more about that.
So in terms of the vault stock story, we've been reporting this since 2018, originally with a delay of 3 months. In August last year, because of the activity that I described, we reduced that to 1 month. And actually on the 5th of March, we reported the February data with 5 business days delay. So we'll be doing that going forward for silver, and we'll certainly be turning our attention to doing the same for gold in the near future. So there's more transparency and certainly less of a time lag when you're looking at those important stock numbers when it comes to local London.
Any other data or trends to share in other areas of the precious metals market?
Otherwise, in terms of precious metals, you've seen the prices go the way that gold has in terms of a decrease in 2021, except for platinum, which has had a 2% increase. When it comes to LBMA, our focus in terms of standard setting has very much been on the responsible sourcing side of life, and particularly when it comes to issues regarding ESG.
And Ruth, I understand you have a launch coming next week. Tell us more about that.
We do. So in terms of LBMA trade data, I'm happy to say we will be live on Refinitiv as well. So when it comes to that data, you have more choices in terms of where you can get it.
And the perfect segue to wrap up here, how can viewers access LBMA data?
So you can get it direct from Nasdaq, or you can go to Bloomberg, or soon to be Refinitiv, and have a look at the data for yourself, and you can keep up to date live on a daily basis.
All right, Ruth, great to catch up with you as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks so much, Jill.